Hey guys, welcome back. So guys, in this video, we are going to learn how to make a user authentication or how to check the user authentication in PHP OOPS. Okay. So guys, now let's get started. So first step, let's log in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Login. Okay, logged in successfully. And now guys, we are going to start with the authentication part. So authentication part means like if you're logged in or not logged in, you can access the index page. But if you go to like your my hyphen profile.php, so at this page you cannot access this page until unless you are logged in. So you should check the authentication, right? So for this case guys, we are going to build the authentication part. So let's copy this file and go to our project. Here create a file. And now guys, we need the header and footer to show the design. So let's copy from the index page. Let's copy and paste. And you can show the data as my profile page. Save and let's run. Perfect. Okay, so you're on my profile page. Let's log out now. Okay, and now you can go to my profile.php, right? Even though you're not logged in, you can access this page. So let's make this authentication. So yes, let's get back. First step guys, let's go to our controller and create one authentication controller. Okay, so authentication controller.php, all set. So now let's begin with creating the class. So class where authentication controller, and let's begin with the construct method. So public function where underscore underscore construct function or a method, and inside this I want to call the logged in or not. So for that guys, we'll create one function. Let's this of check is logged in. Okay, function where we'll create a function with this. Let's create a private function with checked logged in. Let's give a if condition over here, and inside this we have to check out with not symbol is set, open and close dollar underscore session, so which we have created in the part 3 video of your login. So over here what you're going to check, let's go to a login controller, and here when we are logging in we are setting this authentication to true. So we need to check this. If it is logged in only, you're going to check that. Okay, so here if it is not set, this authentication is not true, you're going to redirect to login to access the page. Okay, or access this page, you can just mention that and give the page name, so that will be login.php. Okay, and let's return false over here, and in the else part we are going to return true. Done. Okay, so now guys, we need to call this authentication controller in our my profile. So we need to check that it is logged in or not. So for that case, you are going to call this object. So let's call below only. So authenticated is equal to new authentication controller. So this is called now, and now you can go back to your profile and include at this place, include underscore once. Let's call this page inside controllers folder your authentication controller.php file. That's it. And we will take this and import in our auth controller. Okay, so config app.php. And now let's get back and refresh. Okay, login to access this page. Now let's go to my hyphen profile. You can see that login to access this page. Let's log in with at gmail.com password. Let's log in. Logged in successfully. And now let's go to my profile. So you can see my profile.php page. Perfect. So let's get back. And here you can see guys, this is our code authentication code.php file, which need to be included in every file again and again. So which we saw in previous two parts, that is your index page also we are including. Okay, and your login also we are including it, and then in your register also we are including, right? And now in our my profile also we have included. So let's cut this and include in our app.php file. So which means let's move to config app.php. After the database connection, let's include that. That's it. So you can just remove from your folder, I mean file, that your config code, then go to your login and just remove this. So you don't require this. That's it. And in your register also, you can remove that. Let's go to my profile. We already removed it. So as you can see that we have included config app.php, but we did not include in our register page. Why? Because we have included that file into our authentication controller. So as you can see over here, so all the authentication controller will be over here. Okay, so let's get back and now let's refresh. Everything is working fine. Go to home page and let's try to log out. Perfect, logged out successfully. Everything is working fine guys. And now let's try to get the logged in user data. So let me log in once again. So you're logged in, right? If you go to my profile, you have to get your profile data, right? So for that, you are going to create in authentication controller only, because that is your authenticated user data. So let's get here and yep, let's create a function. So public function where auth detail we will tell. Okay. So first step, you're going to check it is logged in or not. So you can just copy this or call the function of your check logged in. So let's tell check authentication is equal to this logged in. If this auth is true, it will come in, else you can return false. Yep. And once it is correct, you're going to get the user ID. So let's type one $user underscore ID is equal to your data. So from where are you going to get that user ID? So when we are logging in at that time, we are storing that inside the user, I mean auth user session variable with the array format, that is user ID. Okay. So let's get this. From this user ID you will get. Okay. Let's call that user underscore ID. All set. So with this help of user ID, you're going to call the data, exact whatever data you require from your database. So let's tell get user data is equal to inside double quotes select all the fields. So like if you are creating complex table of the user like address, response, pin code, phone number, detail, etc. So you can just get from that. So select star from users table where id is equal to inside single quotes you can give your user id limit on. And now let's execute this. So you need to give your database connection first. So first let us create one variable called result is equal to $this of your connection and then execution of the query. So what is your query? Get user data. So let's copy this and paste here. All set. So you need to create this database connection. You need to import the data. So let's create a db is equal to new database connection, and let's $this of connection is equal to db of connection. Okay, we are copying this and we are printing here. Okay, so you need to check that. So once, let's check if a record exists or not inside this with the help of number of rows. So MySQL number of rows ROWS is greater than 0. You are going to check over here, else you will redirect something went wrong. Okay, so these are the very rare cases you will get like this, like when session expires or something goes wrong on your net. So in that case you might get this, or else it's very rare case to get this else condition of this and this. Okay, so when you get, you are obviously going to login.php, and yes, so when your data is success, you are going to get the data into a data variable of $result. You are going to fetch the data from that single record, so we can use fetch associate data. Okay, so associate function, and now you can just return $data, so you'll get the data from it. And yes, so we are going to check this auth details. Auth detail means authenticated user detail, or you can keep authenticated user detail in this anyhow. Okay, so auth also is means authenticated user, so let's keep as small auth details. So now you can copy this very function and get to your profile, my profile. Let me close all the files, it's getting confusion. So this is my auth controller, my profile. Yep, so you're included this authentication controller at top, and now you can just call that PHP open, PHP close. We need to call the variable, so let's call that $authenticated is equal to, authenticated of your function auth detail. So how are you getting this authenticated? So this authenticated means this variable. Okay, so which I have declared it over here. If you want, you can just use this one inside your each page, or else just declare that and remember that you have created an authenticated variable. After authentication only you are going to come. All set. So let's keep this in a variable called data is equal to, and inside this data you are going to get the data and print over here. So let's tell f name, let's get back, refresh, perfect. So you are getting the with data. So let's try to keep this horizontal row and h4 tag. So first name colon your code, let's refresh, cool. So this is my first name, and let's print the last name also. Okay, so let's just concatenate it over here, give a space, copy, and call the last name. Perfect. So this is how we can complete our authentication or a user authentication in PHP using object oriented. So let's copy and paste, and here instead of first name let's give full name. And now guys, you can just print your email ID also if you require. So email, how much ever record if you want, you can print it. So let me just show you in my database. Right now we have first name, last name, email, password. Okay, so refresh, and now let's tell when this email is created at. So you can just copy and paste, and created at you can give and call your column field. So created at, let's save, refresh. Perfect. So it's telling over here. If you want, you can convert this using a date time function. So date function where we will tell as date, month, hyphen year, and give comma, string to time function, and pass the variable. So yep, refresh. Here is your output. So guys, in this video, we have successfully completed about the check of user authentication and make the user authentication. So as we can see that we can check if the user is logged in, then only he can access his page. So let's try to access my profile. Hit enter, login to access the page. So now let's give 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Click login, and here logged in successfully. Let's go to my profile. You can see you can access the my profile page. So guys, in this video, that's it. We have successfully completed about our user authentication part, and let's continue next video with the new topic. And that's it in this video guys. Please subscribe, like and share.